Would you risk for your beliefs, your career, your passport, maybe your family? Professional athletes are told to stick to sports, to stay silent, to play the games and not cause controversy. But what happens when staying silent feels like betrayal? This is the story of Enes Kanter Freedom, an NBA player who went from playoff hero to blackballed from the NBA and a political dissident. All in the process, he forced the sports world to confront a difficult question. Should athletes be allowed to use their platform? Enes Kanter was born in 1992 in Switzerland, but grew up in Turkey. At an early age, like most NBA players, basketball wasn't just a sport. It was something more. It was an escape, a path to something bigger. At 17 years old, he moved to the United States to pursue his dream of playing in the NBA. In 2011, that dream became a reality. He was drafted by the Utah Jazz with a third overall pick and went on to play with the Thunder, the Knicks, and the Celtics. He wasn't just another role player, a guy sitting on the end of the bench though. He was known for relentless rebounding, interior scoring, and emotional intensity. In 2019, he played through a separated shoulder in the playoffs. At that point, it looked simple. An immigrant kid with NBA success and an American dream. But off the court, something else was brewing. In the mid-2010s, Turkey was undergoing major political turmoil. At the center of it was President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Kanter became an outspoken critic of the government and supported Fethullah Gulen, a figure the Turkish government accused of orchestrating a failed coup attempt in 2016. The situation escalated very quickly. In 2017, the Turkish government revoked Kanter's passport. An arrest warrant was issued. He was labeled by his own country as a terrorist and became stateless. His family in Turkey distanced themselves from him. For Enes Kanter, this wasn't just a political debate. This was exile. He became effectively stateless, no way to return home. But Kanter didn't stop. Instead of pulling back, he went farther. He began speaking about global human rights issues, including China's treatment of the Uyghur Muslims and supporting Israel's right to exist. He criticized business relationships between the NBA and China, questioning financial reasons and influencing silence. This was an uncomfortable territory. The NBA is a global business, and the China market represents billions of dollars in revenue. Another player doesn't really matter. When Kanter spoke, some saw courage, others saw recklessness. He wore customized sneakers with political messages, gave interviews, and used social media aggressively. The basketball world grew quieter around him. His activism later intensified, and NBA opportunities began to shrink. In 2021, he became a U.S. citizen and changed his name to Freedom, a symbolic act, a statement of identity. However, shortly after, his playing time decreased, and in 2022, he played his final NBA game, while still being a pretty serviceable role player. Was it a coincidence? Maybe performance-related? Or was it the cost of speaking out? There's no official statement saying what ended his career, but many observers question whether teams were hesitant to sign a player that carried geopolitical baggage and conflict. In professional sports, talent matters, but so does business, and business would rather the players be silent. Kanter's story forces us to confront a larger issue. Athletes today have a larger platform than most politicians. Millions of followers, global visibility, and massive influence. We've seen activism before. Muhammad Ali refusing the draft is one example. History often judges these people differently than the present does. At the time, they were divisive. Years later, they're seen as principled. So where does Kanter's story fit? You don't have to agree with Enes Kanter. You don't have to agree with his politics. But the story raises a question that goes beyond basketball, beyond sports, and beyond us. If athletes have power, do they have the right to use it, or is the cost simply too high? And if speaking up ends your career, was it worth it? Thanks for watching Full Court Focus.